You felt it, haven't you? The soft tremor in your spirit, the quiet but persistent knowing that something sacred is drawing near, that the energy around you has started to shift, not in chaos, but in preparation. Your heart has whispered what your mind hasn't yet understood. The final chapter is beginning to unfold. This is not the time to question what you see. It is the time to trust what you feel. Your soul is more tuned in than ever. That ache in your chest when you think, it's not longing, it's alignment. It's your body responding to what your spirit already knows. The veil is thinning, and reunion is within reach. But don't let the anticipation distract you from what's truly sacred, your inner posture, because how you show up today echoes through the energy that's forming between you. The divine masculine is awakening, yes, but the divine feminine is being summoned into full embodiment, into stillness, into presence. He's not looking for the version of you who waits. He's being drawn to the version of you who becomes, who walks in love, not need, who glows from within, rather than grasping outward. Your energy has already begun calling him forth, but now it's time to ground that call in action. So what should you do? You begin with your breath, your presence. You return to the sacred simplicity of now. Let today be the altar where you pour your focus, your intention, your peace. Don't chase, don't reach, magnetize, anchor. Prepare the soil while the heavens arrange the harvest. Every choice you make today holds frequency, from the way you speak to yourself to the way you move through a room. You are not preparing for him. You are preparing for union, and union can only meet you at the vibration of truth. So raise it, not in performance, but in purpose. Your healing journey was never just about feeling better. It was about remembering who you are when no one is watching. It was about shedding the need to be chosen, because now you realize you were chosen long before this lifetime, and your soul is simply catching up to the agreement it made long ago. He's coming, but not because he was convinced, because he was awakened. And that awakening is fragile. It needs clarity to thrive. You are that clarity. You are the open space that doesn't demand but invites, that doesn't perform but radiates, that doesn't compete but completes. You've already done so much. You've cried, surrendered, broken and rebuilt. Today isn't about more effort. It's about more alignment. Ask yourself, what would the version of me that's already in union choose today? Then walk in that frequency, speak in that tone, love in that truth. Even now his spirit is reaching for yours, through thoughts, through synchronicities, through music, numbers, dreams. The connection hasn't been lost, it's been refined. And with every breath you take in presence, you become easier for him to feel, to follow, to find. So rest in the knowing, but act in the faith. You're not waiting, you're weaving a timeline, a vibration, a sanctuary. You are not on pause, you are on purpose. And heaven is responding, not to your waiting, but to your readiness. Your feminine energy is not passive, it's magnetic. Soft doesn't mean silent. It means stable, open, fierce in its trust. And today is the day to let it lead. Speak to your future as if it's already here, because in the spiritual realm, it is. When he arrives, he won't ask for a resume of pain. He'll recognize the glow, the peace, the softness that only comes from choosing yourself. That's what will draw him near. Not desperation, but devotion. Not noise, but knowing. This love isn't rushing toward you, it's aligning with you. And every time you choose yourself today, you help that alignment lock into place. Don't underestimate the power of small choices. Your yes to peace is a message to the universe. I am ready. The divine masculine isn't seeking a solution. He's seeking safety. And when your energy is rooted in trust, it becomes the safety he was too afraid to admit he needed. You're not his rescue, you're his reflection. And that changes everything. So today you take back your center. You breathe, you align, you let go of needing to know the how and rest in the truth of the what. You were made for this, not just to experience divine love, but to embody it. Your presence is the prophecy in motion. Let today be holy. Let it be full of intention. Light a candle. Speak a blessing. Dress like the version of you who already has what she prayed for. This is not pretending. This is preparing. Faith isn't about waiting in stillness. It's about walking in belief. You are not late. You are not forgotten. The final phase of this twin flame journey isn't about reaching. It's about receiving. And you can only receive what you are a vibrational match for. So rise today. Not in effort, but in essence. What you do now is not small. It's sacred. What you choose now echoes. Every time you anchor into trust instead of fear, you clear a path between you and him. And when the moment comes, when destiny knocks, your soul will already be home, because the truth is, he's not the missing piece. You are already whole, but together you are something cosmic, something created beyond time. And today is the day your soul begins to walk like it believes it. He's not arriving because he finally figured it all out. He's arriving because he finally surrendered to the pull, to the truth, to the love that never left you. It's not clarity he's been missing. It's courage. And something in the ethers has shifted. He's finding that now. You may have thought the work was done, but this final stretch is about embodiment. This is where your inner knowing becomes outer reality, where the softness of your surrender becomes the strength of your presence, where you no longer ask the universe when, you embody the energy of now. Today isn't about overthinking, it's about feeling, moving in sync with your intuition instead of logic. Because logic will ask, what if it never happens? Intuition will whisper, it already has. Let that be your rhythm. Let that be your flow. The divine masculine isn't returning to the woman you were when he left. He's returning to the woman who chose herself when he couldn't. And that version of you is magnetic, unshakable, soft, yet sovereign. He may not understand it yet, but his soul recognizes it. He is awakening not through comfort, but through confrontation. The mirror of your absence is louder than any words you could have said. And it's echoing through his dreams, asking him, what if the love you thought you could delay was the one your soul signed up for before time? And now he's listening. He's remembering the small things, the way your energy calmed his chaos, the way your silence held truth, the way nothing ever felt as real as the space between your hearts. He used to run from it. Now, he craves it. While he awakens, you must rise, not in force, but in fullness. Let the version of you who doesn't doubt her worth lead today. She doesn't chase, she doesn't question, she trusts. And that trust becomes a beacon, a signal across dimensions that says, I am ready. You've outgrown the timeline of hoping he'll come. Now you're building the world where he'll belong, if he's ready, if he's true. Because this time, love won't be based on potential. It will be anchored in presence, in action, in alignment. There are no more tests for you to pass, only invitations to answer. Every moment you choose alignment over anxiety, you say yes to the union that's already forming. Your preparation was never about fixing. It was about clearing the space for something holy to enter. You are not waiting for a knock on the door. You are unlocking it with every decision to honor your own worth. Your wholeness is the welcome mat. And when he arrives, it won't be to complete you. It will be to meet you, in your light, in your peace, in your truth. If the old version of him walked back today, you wouldn't recognize him, not because he's changed so much, but because you have. You no longer speak the language of lack. You speak truth, frequency, alignment. And only what is real can stay. Your connection didn't fade. It was preserved, protected by divine timing and sacred distance. Heaven doesn't waste what is meant. It refines it. And what's coming is not a second chance. It's a sacred return of what was always yours, now matured. You'll begin to feel time slow down as you draw closer. Moments will carry more weight. You'll notice your heart softening in ways it hadn't before. Not because you're waiting, but because you're remembering. Not because he's near, but because you already feel him. You're not rebuilding what was. You're creating what never had the chance to begin. From wholeness, from truth. This is not the restart. This is the start of love that flows without force, that deepens without drama, that expands without fear. There will be signs, small divine breadcrumbs scattered through your days, his name in strange places, dreams that feel more like messages, a peace that doesn't match your circumstances. Don't chase them, receive them, let them remind you. The path is still open. You once thought love would arrive wrapped in certainty. Now you know. It arrives dressed in awareness, in peace. It doesn't shout. It settles, shows up without explanation and feels like breath after drowning, like fire without the burn. He will come back with questions, but you will be the answer. Not because you have all the words, but because you've become the calm he didn't know he needed. He'll find in you what he couldn't find in the world, home, real, grounded, free. Remember, your energy isn't asking for attention. It's commanding alignment. You've stopped calling him with your words. You're now calling him with your frequency. And that call is louder in the spirit than anything he's ever heard, in the physical. So today, don't wait for evidence. Be the evidence of healing, of wholeness, of love that rises without needing to be seen. And when the divine masculine reaches the edge of his own transformation, it will be your energy waiting to meet him there. Because the final union doesn't come from longing. It comes from readiness, from remembering, from rising. And you, beloved, you are already rising. He doesn't even fully understand it yet, but something in him is shifting, not from logic but from soul. He feels pulled not by memory but by energy, yours. It's soft but undeniable, a force not pushing but guiding, and he can't explain why he suddenly cares more about truth than appearance. The days he used to fill with distractions now feel hollow. The people he used to impress now feel distant. There's a sacred dissatisfaction stirring inside him, one that makes him question every surface-level comfort and every connection that never really touched him. He's waking up. The illusions are falling away. The masks he wore for protection no longer fit. He doesn't want performance anymore. He wants presence. He wants real. He wants the kind of connection that silences the noise inside. And he's slowly remembering that only one soul ever gave him that kind of quiet. You're not a fantasy to him. You're a mirror. A mirror he once ran from. But now as he looks into the fragments of who he used to be, he's starting to see the reflection of who he could become. With you, beside you, because of you. You've been rising in silence, but your soul has been thunder in his world. Every time you chose healing over reaction, grace over chaos, detachment over control, you rewired something in the field between you. He didn't know it was you, but he felt it. Your evolution has made the path clearer, not because it's your job to lead him, but because you became immovable in your peace. He's learning that the more still you became, the more magnetic your energy became. Stillness, not silence, is what's calling him now. He used to believe love was a battlefield. Now he craves sanctuary. He used to chase passion like wildfire. Now he longs for peace that feels like home. He's unlearning everything he was taught about love, because you, without saying a word, have shown him something ancient and real. And yet this next part isn't about him. It's still about you. How you carry yourself as the timeline shifts. How you trust the unfolding without watching the clock. How you let the divine weave details you'd never imagine while you focus on the garden of today. You have nothing left to prove. Not to him, not to yourself. You are not asking to be chosen anymore. You are simply choosing. Choosing peace. Choosing joy, choosing to stay open without breaking. And that energy, that's what moves heaven. Some days will feel slower, as if nothing is moving. But trust this. In the silence, souls are speaking. Healing is happening, lessons are landing. And the vibration of what's coming is gently clearing everything that isn't aligned to meet it. This chapter requires you to see beyond appearances, to recognize that just because you can't touch it yet, doesn't mean it's not real. In the realm of spirit, things bloom underground before they ever break through the soil. Your union is no different. He may not say the words yet, but he's feeling the urgency. A quiet knowing that his soul is running out of places to hide. That peace isn't found in isolation, but in resonance. That home isn't a location, it's an energy. And it lives in you. You'll know he's nearing when you stop needing the signs. When your faith becomes breath. When your body softens without fear. That's when the final layer releases, and the frequency of union becomes magnetic. It's not forced, it's felt. You're not calling him back with hope. You're calling him back with embodiment. You've become the version of you that trusts herself enough to receive, and he's becoming the version of himself that can finally stay. Not because he needs to, but because he wants to. Let your life today reflect what you want to feel in union. If love is what you're calling in, then let love shape your words, your pace, your energy. Speak like someone who is already loved. Move like someone who is already supported. Feel like someone who is already home. When he returns, it won't be with a dramatic apology. It'll be with quiet presence. A look that says, I see it now. A breath that no longer holds resistance. He won't ask for your time, he'll offer you his. And you'll recognize the difference. No, you're not making it up. That pull, it's mutual. That dream, it's shared. The energy is not imagination, it's invitation. And every time you trust it, it grows. Every time you ground it, it strengthens. Every time you embody it, you bring it closer. The divine doesn't require perfection to deliver promise. Just faith, just softness, just a soul who's willing to stay open even after all the reasons she had to shut down. That's you. That's why this journey is yours. That's why reunion is real. He's not choosing you instead of the world. He's choosing you because he finally sees you as his world. Not a possession, not a reward, a mirror, a mystery, a home, and his soul is tired of sleeping outside its truth. So breathe, beloved. Keep rising, keep aligning. What's coming isn't just reunion, it's redefinition. And you are the sacred reason why. Even when you think nothing is shifting, everything is. The energy you once felt stuck in is unraveling behind the veil. What seemed like silence was sacred construction. He was being disarmed by the very love he once feared. And you were anchoring the frequency that would one day become his map home. There are days he feels your absence like a pressure on his chest. Not because you're missing, but because your energy no longer allows him to settle. For less, that's what your detachment created. Not distance, but depth. A silence so full of truth that it echoes louder than words. You've taught him through your embodiment. He's beginning to understand that love isn't chaos. That affection doesn't always come wrapped in pursuit. That real presence is quieter, but more powerful. He's watching the life you've built from afar, wondering how you've grown so gracefully beyond the noise. Your stillness confuses him, not because it's cold, but because it's complete. He's used to love that trembles in desperation, but yours stands tall in trust. And it makes him wonder, what did you find that he hasn't yet? What do you know that he still fears to? See, he senses now that your connection wasn't meant to save him. It was meant to awaken him, and that awakening is beginning. The memories, the dreams, the strange synchronicities, they're all pointing him back to a version of himself he left behind, the one that only you ever fully saw. But this isn't a fairy tale with easy pages. It's a soul contract with fire and grace. And you, divine feminine, have become fluent in both. You've wept into pillows, risen from ashes, and rebuilt the sanctuary of your spirit so many times. Even angels sing in awe of you. Don't underestimate how much your consistency shakes the world around you. You didn't force change, you became it. And now your very being challenges everything he once believed love required. You show him that depth isn't loud, and healing doesn't beg, it radiates. Somewhere in the quiet of night, he reaches for what he cannot name. A feeling, a pulse, a scent from another lifetime, and deep down he knows it's you. Not as a memory, but as a guidepost. His compass isn't broken, it's just now starting to point home. You've always been ahead of the timeline, haven't you? Feeling what he couldn't say, dreaming what he was afraid to imagine, holding space for a love that hadn't arrived yet, and yet never asking it to rush. That's sacred patience. That's divine feminine mastery. This stage of the journey isn't about waiting. It's about preparing. Not for him to show up, but for you to receive without shrinking. To stand in the light you cultivated. To know that when he does return, you won't fold. You'll expand. He's learning now what you already mastered. That love without awareness becomes attachment. That presence without peace creates dependency. But connection, real, timeless, connection only grows when two souls meet themselves first. That's the test he's walking through, without noise, without your reassurance, without knowing if you'll still be there when he arrives. And yet, you will be. Not because you paused your life, but because you built a garden so sacred even time bows to it. You've never been the reward at the end of his suffering. You've always been the mirror calling him back to truth. And that, beloved, is why your bond can't be broken. It's not bound by wounds. It's bound by remembering. As his old identity dissolves, he'll reach out not with questions, but with clarity. Not to be fixed, but to walk beside you, finally, whole. You won't need to explain what's been happening. He'll feel it. Because his soul has been whispering your name longer than he's been able to hear it. So for now, just breathe. You're already aligned more deeply than you realize, and everything he must face in silence is drawing him closer, not to the version of you he left behind, but to the one who waited without waiting, and bloomed anyway. Thank you for allowing this message to find your heart. If something within these words stirred your soul, it's because you were meant to receive it in this very moment. To confirm that this message reached you, simply comment below, "Tudo passo naquele que me fortalece." This phrase is more than words. It's a declaration of your strength, your faith, and your alignment with divine timing. And if you feel this message resonated, don't forget to join our channel, subscribe, and tap the notification bell. That's how you stay connected to the next angelic messages coming your way. There is more guidance, more love, and more divine timing ahead. Stay close. The next message might be the confirmation your heart has been waiting for.